Okay. Paul mentioned this. This is something I've written about, actually. People. People are your best asset, right? People are your best asset? Yeah. Wrong. Okay. The reason I say wrong, and I'm not for 1 second, as you'd imagine, saying that people aren't critical to a business, but the point about an asset and ownership of an asset is critical. If you work for me and you are my asset, that is called slavery. Okay? Now, last time I looked, that did run contrary to the Human Rights Convention and doesn't happen very often. So the fact that we do, and this is a critical distinction, the human capital embodied in an individual is their asset. Okay? They own it. It's them. It's theirs. And what we're doing as businesses is we're renting that asset. We're putting that asset to use in our businesses. Now, if you own an asset, the way you invest in it is entirely different to whether you don't own an asset. I'll give you an example. If you own your own house, you build an extension on the back, no problem. If you're renting a flat, are you going to fit a new kitchen in that flat? Are you going to build an extension on a house that you're renting? No. What you might do is you might, for consumption returns, you might repaint the whole house so that because you're going to live in it for a year and you want it to be the way you want it, but you're going to invest for consumption return and you're not going to invest for capital return. Now, that's a really important distinction because what it means is, in our business at least, and I would recommend in any business, you need people on your team who recognize that they are their own asset and want to improve themselves. Because the fact is, whether you like to admit it or not, you are more likely to invest in something that you own than something that you don't own, even if you are renting it. And so it's absolutely critical, in my mind, to make sure that the people that we employ in our businesses invest in themselves. And that is all about employing an attitude, and we've heard a lot of that today. It's a lot about, we heard about, I think Paul was mentioning about Keith saying, next door saying, he's gone into this fantastic business, but he's still trying to move it forward, because that's all about attitude. Now, the people that we employ, we need that attitude in them because while we don't own the individual people, what we do own is the team. The team is something that is part of our business. And investing in the team is absolutely critical to winning in any business. So investing in a team is certainly the right way to go. I mean, if you think about, I don't know, football team, Manchester United, I mean, they train all week. They have the advantage of only playing on a Saturday. We all have to play every day and train in the gaps, but they train all week and then they play on a Saturday. And they train together as a team to work more effectively as a team. That is your asset. Is the way your team plays together, I would suggest. And it's a bit like a band. So what I was going to do now is, with a little help from Led Zeppelin. Everybody Led Zeppelin fans? Yeah, I hope so. A little help from Led Zeppelin. I'm going to ask you in a moment to close your eyes, and I'm going to play you 3 tracks. I love music. I think music captures all sorts of thoughts and emotions together in one way that allow us to compare things. So what I'm going to do is play you 3 short tracks at the moment. And what I want you to do is, with your eyes closed, just listen to each one. And then at the end of it, I'm going to look for a show of hands. Who thinks their business is like track 1? Who thinks their business is like track 2? And who thinks their business is like track 3? Okay? So if you just close your eyes for a moment, let's give you a couple of seconds. The light's going down. Right, track number 1. Listen to it surge.
Hey, mama said the way you move gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove.
Keep your eyes closed. So imagine working in that environment. You're surging from one thing to the next for a pause, and you're surging on to the next one. How about this? Rock and roll. Never stops. Day in, day out. Fast. Keeps going. Pace never changes. So we've had surging from one to another. We've had out and out rock and roll. Is this you? Right. Let's have a quick show of hands. Who's Black Dog surging from one thing to another? Track one. Okay. Who's rock and roll never stops? And who is living life on the stairway to heaven? Right. Well, that's interesting. It's about a third, I would say. Now, the point about this, thank you for that. The point about this is any of those modes, any of those pieces of music, any of those ways of working and living are okay, they're fine. And in fact, this is the same band. These are the same people playing the same instruments, but they're deciding to play a different tune. Okay? And so the important thing for me from all of this is if you get people in the band or on the bus, according to Jim Collins, or whichever way, if you get the right people with the right attitude who can play their instruments and want to get better at playing their instruments, doing the thing that they do, they are dedicated to their own human capital. And you then invest in the ability of people to play together, then you can make beautiful music. So, the nugget number three for me, nugget number three is only employ people who want to invest in themselves. We've heard, next door I think it was, we heard one presentation saying, was it good that person X left the business? Yes, was the answer. Yes, it is good. If people do not, it's absolutely wrong for any of us to spend our lives, we have one shot at this, to spend our lives working in a business trying to do something that we are not bought into. It's completely wrong to expect any of our people to want to do that. And therefore, it's perfectly natural if you decide you want to do something to let people go and to encourage people to go and spend their lives the way that's aligned with what they want to do with their lives. So number one, only employ, to the extent that you can, people that are up for self-development. And two, really invest much more than you are at the moment in the team playing together as a band. Because just think of what you're up for. Just think of the analogy between us running a small business and, as I said, a football team. They train all day, every day, for one match on a Saturday. We're working all day in the gaps trying to find 5 minutes to do some training. Okay? Training the team to play together, for me, is definitely a priority. Okay,